Sure, sure. Hi. Hello, everyone. My name is Zina. I'm from SOSV. I'm an analyst at MOX. I also work a little bit for Chinaccelerator as well. Oscar, managing director of Chinaccelerator, will represent uh, Chinaccelerator later. I think he's still in traffic, so that will happen later after my introduction of MOX. So, is everyone able to see the slides? I'm sharing the screen right now. Hello? Is everyone able to see the slides? Hello? Hello?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Cool. So I will start then. So we're MOX. MOX stands for mobile only accelerator. So what we're doing here is we're targeting the next 4 billion mobile users. When we are talking about mobile users, we're talking about the generation of people who just started to use mobile. So what we're really looking at emerging markets such as Indonesia, India, the Philippines. In the future, we'll be talking Eastern Europe, and then Africa as well. But for now, we're mostly focused in the Southeast Asian markets, also India. So we are an accelerator. How our program works is that we have essentially 4 stages. The first part is investment. We'll be giving you guys a certain amount of investment for you guys to I guess scale up, and then it's usually fixed term, and then our program is batch based, so we have 2 batches each year, and then the program is mentorship driven, so we have over 300 mentors in our network, and then at the end of at the end of demo day at the end of the program we'll be having demo day. So for MOX we have two demo days each year, and then for each demo day there'll be one in Taiwan and there will be one in Singapore. And then this is about SOSV. So we're basically everywhere. We have office in Shanghai. We have office in Taipei. I'm currently in Taipei right now, and then Brian is in Shanghai. And then we also have office in Shenzhen, Singapore, San Francisco, London, and New York. So this is all of the accelerators under SOSV. As you guys probably already know, we are a VC fund. We invest through accelerators. So we have MOX, and we also have a Chinaccelerator, and then Hex. They do hardware. They're based in Shenzhen, and then we have Rebel Bio and Indie Bio. They mostly focusing on biotech, and then also we have FoodX, which is based in New York, and then they mostly as the name says, they do a lot of food innovations. And then this is just some numbers about SOSV. So according to Crunchbase News, we are the fourth most active seed investors in 2017. We are ranked as most active investors in synthetic biology in Internet of Things, according to CB Insights. And then we have been named 2 years running as #1, #2 seed investors for female founders, according to Crunchbase and TechCrunch. And then this is our managing director, William Baobing, and then Sean O'Sullivan. As you guys can probably tell, we got our name from essentially his initials. So SOSV is from Sean O'Sullivan Ventures. And then a little bit more about MOX. We're the #1 platform for best mobile app applications from around the world to enter Asia. This is, I guess, a nutshell of how our program work. So as I just said, we're a mentor-driven program. We have over 300 mentors. So there will be mentors will be helping you guys pro bono, so they won't charge you. Essentially, they're happy to give you guys a couple hours, maybe in a month or maybe in several months. They will be mentoring without any charge. And then we have a very strong alumni network. We're currently on batch 6. We already have five batches. We have a lot of successful companies, and then I would say it's a valuable, very important part of our program and our network to have all successful startups to share their experience, as also their network to new companies. And then we have a team of around 10 people. We cover investment, growth hacking, campaigns, design, everything. We will help you guys in different aspects. And then we also have partners. We have promotion partners. We have BD partners in a lot of Southeast Asian countries. So they will help you guys to expand the business. They will help you guys to do campaigns. They will help you guys to get more users essentially. And then we also have experts in residence. So we call them EIR. You can book them for certain hours. So they're actually they're under MOX, and then they'll help you guys as well. So what MOX does for our portfolio companies is that we give you guys essentially a platform with 160 million smartphone reach. So our business model is we do free promotion for you guys in return for revenue share. We do free promotion of your distribution partners for, this is what I said. And then also we help you guys with fundraising and partnerships. So as I said, we have 2 batches each year. We have one on-site we have one fundraising program in February, and then we have another fundraising program in August. During the fundraising program, the CEO of each company will spend roughly 3 weeks to 4 weeks here on site in Taipei, and then we'll basically spend 24/7 with you guys. We'll help you guys to create investment decks. We'll teach you guys how to approach investors. We'll teach you guys how to tell the story of your company, how to put it in a concise and easy way for investors to understand, and eventually to help you guys get the funding for your next round. And then this is what we do. We have 5 parts essentially. So we'll help you guys with market research. We'll provide you guys with market entry, consumer insights. We will help testing and optimize your products. We will also localize your products. So for example, if you guys have this app running very well in Korea, but then you are interested in, let's say, Indonesia market, we'll help you to localize, and then we'll help you say we need to change to the local language there, so that the users in the local market can use the app. And then we'll also help you guys to access the product market fit across Asia, Southeast Asia, and India. We'll help you guys to grow the products, and eventually we'll help you guys to monetize the product. This explains our 3+1 MOX program. We have essentially 4 modules. I just talked a little bit about the fundraising part, but before fundraising part, we have, well, it's not before. Most of the process they happen simultaneously. So have this fundraising module, and on top of that, we have 3 other parts. We have stage 1, which is integration. So for integration, we will put in a lot of SDKs, including data analytics tools, geo tracking, so on and so forth. So essentially, we'll put in a lot of analytics tools into your app, so that, well, of course, we'll help you guys in the process as well. So from those analytic tools, you guys will better analyze the data, and then through the data, we have 2 full-time growth hackers to help you guys to analyze data and come up with plan to optimize your products. That's on the second phase. So as I said, we'll gather data. We'll help you guys to optimize your products and to gain more users. And finally, after you guys are done with phase 1 integration, phase 2 optimization, then we'll get into phase 3 promotion. So when the product's ready, we have already tested. We have the product is proven to be able to retain a lot of users. So when we talk about retaining a lot of users, we're really looking at the retention rate, right? So our benchmark is usually set at 15 to 20%. So when a product is able to retain 15 to 20% of the users after 30 days, then we usually will consider the product as ready to be promoted. So what we'll do under this phase is we will promote the products with our promotion partners in Indonesia or Philippines or India. And then those promotion partners will promote your products for free in return for revenue share. So why we choose this business model is, if you look at the mobile market in a lot of emerging markets, Southeast Asia, the lifetime value is actually below the lifetime value is actually below the cost of user acquisition. So there's no way for you guys to make money if you just go out and pay partners to get users for them. So through revenue share is a more sustainable way of grow your products essentially. Yeah, I explained this already. And this is CEO fundraising program, as I explained before. It's on-site in Taipei. You will be spending 3 weeks to 4 weeks here in Taipei, and then this is what we will do. We will help you guys market entry. We'll have mentors to help you guys, and then finally we'll have the demo days in Taiwan and Singapore. Yeah, I covered this a little bit. I think. This is a few pictures from our post-demo days. I think this is batch 3, and yeah, this is batch 3. So we had our batch 5 in August, and then we are currently on batch 6. So we'll be having demo day very soon, towards the end of February. And this is a lot of interesting, great events that we're hosting with our partners across a lot of countries in Southeast Asia. And we also have over $1 million worth of products in perks. So if you guys are interested in cloud service, say we have 100K in Google Cloud credits. So if you are accepted to our program, you won't have to pay for Google Cloud. So just in case some of you guys are currently using cloud service, and then you guys are paying for it. So it will be very great if you guys can take advantage of those kind of perk credits. And as I said, we have over 300 mentors, and this is the few mentors in our network. And then we are also working actively with a lot of big corporates. Most of them are Fortune 500 companies. So we do Accelerator pilot program for them. And this is just some of our portfolio companies. So we have they're from Indonesia. We have Elsa from Vietnam, and we have Bigo from Taipei, and then a bunch of other companies. Yeah. So if you guys are interested, feel free to submit your application on our website here, mobileonlyx.com. And then if you have any inquiries, feel free to send an email to this address. I will also leave my personal email here in the chat. If you guys have any questions, feel free to send me an email, or we will have Q&A session towards the end of this webinar. You guys can ask us directly as well. So yeah, that's pretty much about MOX.
Okay, great. Oscar is here.
Thank you for sharing the information of MOX and the next batch program as well. Okay, Oscar, is there? There? Okay.
Here, yeah.
Okay, can you introduce the batch program of Chinaccelerator for the Korean startup? Appreciate it.
Sure.
Cheers.
So first of all, my name is Oscar Ramos. I'm now managing director in Chinaccelerator and a partner in SOSV, responsible for the Chinaccelerator program. So just a brief introduction, as you can see right now on the slides. Chinaccelerator helps internet startups cross borders. We work with software startups that are expanding across different countries. Our sweet spot is connected with China, helping global startups access the Chinese market and Chinese startups expand internationally. But because we're based in Asia and the world is becoming more and more global, there's a lot of companies also that leverage our expertise not just in China, but to expand across Asia, particularly mainly Southeast Asia and India, not so much like North or Far East Asia. Just a couple of, I know Zina already introduced SOSV, so I will not repeat that, but a couple of notes on Chinaccelerator. We were the first accelerator ever launched in Asia. This year is our 10th year anniversary, And we are the only, as far as we know, unless these things have changed, we're the only accelerator in Asia that has ever accelerated a company that went through the program and became a unicorn. There's a lot of unicorns in Asia, but only one that went through one accelerator program that started from a very, very small, and that accelerator was the impulse that helped that company eventually become a unicorn startup. Then so we're going to skip this. We're part of the software ecosystem in Chinaccelerator, in SOSV, together with MOX. And just to give you an idea of what are the typical profile of startups that join us. We're working with startups that are not concepts. We're working with startups that already have a product ready. They already have users. Most of them are generating revenue. We have exceptions in some cases, especially if there's a heavy component of R&D and behind them. But in most cases, all the companies have revenue. Increasingly, this number actually, we're now working on recruitment for batch 15. And this number is slightly different. So I'll say that probably 100% of the companies that are joining our program, they've raised funding before. Some of them, they raised funding from angels. Some of them have gone through previous accelerators. So we have companies that have joined our program after going through other accelerators. And we don't have companies that are already in a break-even situation where they're already profitable, and their goal is really grow. And that's really the focus of what we do. We work with companies that already have an initial product market fit, initial validation that somebody cares about what they're doing. So the exception of revenue generating companies is sometimes more in the B2C space, where companies need to prioritize, and until they don't reach a critical mass, they will not turn on monetization because they don't want to distract the users when what they're doing in this B2C part of their business is get the time currency or the attention currency. We are multi-industry. We work with companies across lots of different industries. You'll see that's something that we do. We believe that cross-pollination and the ability to learn from one industry and apply to another one is a very powerful tool for innovation. And that also allows us to have batches of 12 to 14 companies that are not including competing companies. We also work, as you can see, across lots of different technologies. So we're quite active in the artificial intelligence space, in the blockchain space. Mobile is something obviously really big in Asia. SaaS is also very dominant. VR and AR is something where we've worked with a lot of companies. And this is our offering. So from that point of view, we're a pretty standard accelerator. The companies that join us, they receive investment, but by far investment is the less valuable thing that we offer. In fact, as I mentioned, like 100% of the companies that come, they have raised money before they join us. Sometimes the money is coming from the founders themselves, but they definitely have raised already money. So this is not the most valuable thing that they're looking for. If they care about money, they might care more about the perks that Stina mentioned. We share a lot of the perk value together. So we have now north of $1 million. I'll talk a little bit more about that because we have some China-specific perks that are very, very relevant to companies. But if companies care about money, they can actually get way more valuable money from the perks that they can redeem. We also work with the companies and offer them 6 months of shared office space here in our office. But again, this is not the most valuable thing. The key thing that the office gets them is access to our community. A community that now has more than 150 startups. This community of 300 mentors, with 50% of them based in mainland China, mainly Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, Hangzhou, and this greater area. And others that are not based in China, have a China relation, or that can be very strategic for companies that are expanding across Southeast Asia, Europe, America, or they are just simply global domain experts on something that they were doing. All of these mentors, I'll talk more about them, but they have a very close relationship with us, and they're actually very, very active. So it's not about having a big number; it's about having good quality, and especially very, very engaged. But this community is by far the most valuable thing that we have in Chinaccelerator. Before I talk more about the community, I'll talk a little bit about how the deal is structured. Okay, so as an accelerator, we take common equity for the participation in the program. So we take a 6% common equity in the program, and being common is very important because it really aligns the interests of the startups and what do we do. Then we understand that this for some companies they feel that this is kind of this looks like a down round for them. So if we did exactly straight 6% equity in exchange of the 150%, $150,000, that would look like a down round in their valuation. So we actually take this equity in exchange of $1, or in some cases just the par value of the shares. So the valuation is so low that nobody will ever consider that an actual round. It's more like a big advisory share pool that is used to incentivize not just a single advisor, but a whole organization that is designed to help startups mobilize resources, knowledge, connections, and basically the branding to support the company. Then the investment we structured through a convertible, not a convertible note, convertible equity. Y Combinator calls them safe. They're very over certain parts. We have our own version that is a little bit more localized to the realities of Asia, or particularly the realities of non-US investments. So when we invest in companies can be registered in different jurisdictions. We have localized our ACE to be able to make direct investments into Korean companies, into Indian companies. We execute a lot of investments in companies in Europe, different parts of Europe, Hong Kong, Singapore, and of course also US. So this document has in some cases localizations. For companies that are Chinese or companies that are registered and are domestic companies, we also have an R&D fund. So this R&D fund allows us to make direct investments into China entities owned by Chinese nationals. And in this case, the investment needs to be structured a slightly different way because the regulation in China is very, very strict. And we need to make sure that we always follow the rules and the law. So talking about this type of companies, normally we try to make sure that every batch, we work as a typical accelerator with this 6 months program structure in a 3+3 model, where the first 3 months we work together in a residential format. So companies have to move to our office. We work together until a demo day. And then after demo day, we keep working. And in this case, companies can stay in our office, or they can head back to wherever they think is the best place for them. Sometimes companies that join us, they have large teams, 40 people, 30 people already. So it's not possible to move the whole team, and most likely they will not move eventually the whole operations to Shanghai. So they might keep their team in Seoul, or in Singapore, or in Shenzhen, and then only part of the leadership team will move with us. So the moment they can come back, the better. So we have one third of the startups that are local Chinese. We have 1/3 of the companies that are fully international with very limited to non-China exposure, and we have 1/3 of startups that are mixed. So they might have local and international founders working together. We might have also long-term China residents, foreign residents in China, been like 10 years here. They really have already some of the network and know-how about how to conduct business in here. And you have some examples of some of the countries that we have founders coming from. So how does the program actually work? So one of the key things that differentiates our program compared to a lot of startup accelerators is that we don't have a one-size-fits-all. Working with late-stage startups requires making sure that you deliver value, and for us that's very, very, very important. So the model is that first we work with the companies in what we call stage 0, to make sure that by the time we start the program, everything is ready to rock, everything is ready to grow. We're a growth program. you cannot grow unless you have the fundamentals set. In the second phase, where we have this residential program that I mentioned, with 3 phases internally. So the first one, we spend at least always a couple of weeks to challenge all the assumptions, to make sure that all the pillars of the business model, they are as solid as the founders believe they are. We look for bottlenecks, we look for opportunities for improvement, and that sets the foundation for the second phase. When we work on optimization, we always find opportunities for a company to grow faster, to grow in a more lean way, to grow in a better model. Sometimes the companies optimize, sometimes the company actually change. We optimize, and we optimize through experimentation. So we experiment and we plan and we try and we get information, we use data to make decisions, we bring in new opportunities, we help execute all of those experiments until we finally find some experiments that are showing great growth potential. That's when we enter phase 3. In phase 3, we focus on growth. We focus on doubling down on everything that works. And we start building the infrastructure in the company and the processes to be able to execute things that work at scale. That doesn't mean that the company forgets about optimization, forgets about experimentation. They keep working on that, because any growth strategy that you have eventually will dry up. There will be always a window of opportunity. So you need to be able to create, to have your innovation, your growth innovation engine on, that is creating new growth hacks that then you can double down in the second engine that is more about execution. After this residential program, we finalize with this demo day. Companies go through also a process of optimization for fundraising, working on all the elements that they need, all the tools that they need for fundraising. And demo day becomes not just the day to fundraise, it becomes the day to really have a dress rehearsal in front of the investment community. That's why we keep our demo days small, because we only invite investors. So we normally have around 200, 250 people, all investors or mentors, a way to say thank you to them, and media are welcome. It's not open to the public. We broadcast the demo days, and we always have hundreds of thousands of views in our demo day. But people is not allowed. Regular audience is not allowed, because we only want startups to be talking with investors and maybe their mentors and some media. We actually structure the media interaction to avoid media distracting the companies when they are talking with investors. The second part, the post-acceleration, is when we work with the companies on transition to independent and absorbing all the processes and the infrastructure that they develop during the residential program. We keep working with them, making sure they're okay, making sure they adopted all their processes, all the methodologies, and also we work with them on completing the fundraising and help the companies make sure that they are also using this concept of experimentation and data-driven decision making through fundraising. After this initial 3 months, companies move to a portfolio stage, where we keep working with them on a regular basis, at least on a monthly one-on-one call with them. And then also they're welcome to all of the activities that we organize almost on a weekly basis for a portfolio. They're open to workshops. We have dinners with mentors, with successful funders, with successful VCs. They're always open to that. Most of these activities are only offline, because particularly the most personal, where really deep information and private information is shared. That's something that we do only offline to avoid any type of breach of privacy or confidentiality. And the result is that we're not doing anything. There's not specific deadlines where companies need to do everything by that day, except demo day. Companies will need to complete phase 1 before they move to phase 2, and they need to complete phase 2 before they complete phase 3. So that is something that we work on making it happen as soon as possible. But it doesn't make sense to double down on something that doesn't work. So if a company needs more time to optimize, we optimize together with them more time until they can shift to growth mode. These are more information about who's part of our community. So mentors is the pillar. These 300 mentors that allows us to give very detailed, very specialized, long tail type of support to our companies. We also have a lot of partnerships, like the different organizations that are part of AAA and AAA itself. The alumni becomes a very relevant part of our network. Almost 500 founders right now that have gone through our program, that they trusted us, they can absorb our values and our operation model, and they work with us. We also have a team of people, experts in residence, super committed mentors that work with the companies on a weekly basis on key areas that we know that they're extremely important for the companies. I'll talk a bit more about that later. And then finally, our team. We have right now 16 people in the full-time staff that's working in Chinaccelerator that is dedicated to startups. So in China, people talk a lot about Montessori as an education model. We have a matching of more than one staff per startup to work with them. So really, you can see that there's a lot of attention in terms of helping the startups. These are some of our mentors. It's a very similar picture to give to what Zina shared earlier, but to give you an idea of who are these mentors, we have 3 profiles of mentors. We have serial entrepreneurs, people that already successfully build a company. They become really good mentors for founders that are scaling, so they understand where they are going through. A lot of these serial entrepreneur mentors, they also invest themselves. They also like to use this as a way to see if they like the founders. So normally half of the companies in our program, they receive investment from our mentors every batch, because mentors do like them and they see a good fit. We have experts, people that knows a lot about one key topic, and they really want to be able to share with companies, with startups, but most startups cannot really afford their operational model. So they exchange by being able to learn from each other. So I might be an expert in artificial intelligence, but not an expert in the food industry or the fashion industry. By working with a fashion company, I can get more insights on fashion and food, and at the same time I can share my insights on artificial intelligence. The same thing happened with industry experts. Industry experts that no one have a lot of connections in one industry, it could be education or healthcare, but they're really interested in learning more about how virtual reality is going to impact those industries. So they learn more from a VR startup, and they exchange their network and their connections and their really big view about these industries. We have here the more details about them. These are some of the expert in residence, people that will never work for a fee. People that works because we actually compensate them with sharing the equity that we receive, the 6% that companies pays us. Just to give you an example, Geoffrey, he helped our companies in business development. He's a serial entrepreneur. He's got 4 exits as a founder himself. Mameen helps with financial modeling. He has 2 exits himself, and he's been in the banking industry for 20 years, working on building innovation and financial model. Mark Economics, banker with experience in IPOs and raised hundreds of millions of dollars for large transactions that helps our companies make sure that they have very professional investment decks. Here you have more of these experts on key areas that are very, very relevant. But I really wanted to make sure that we have time for questions, so I'm gonna go through these really fast. So for perks, I mentioned earlier, we are founding members of the Global Accelerator Network. We have access to all the perks that they have. SOSV also provides us a lot of some perks. We also have some China-specific perks. And this is very relevant because sometimes people don't even know that they're going to have a problem with one area. And not only we tell them you have a problem, we give them a solution that in most cases is either free or heavy discount. So that accelerates a lot the go-to-market and making sure the companies are ready to activate. Our statistics say that 70% of the companies that go through the program, they raise follow-on funding. Here you have some examples. You can look for the information, and we should probably update this information because just this quarter we'll be probably closing 10 more rounds for companies in our portfolio. Zina mentioned briefly that we also have have collaboration with a lot of multinationals. That has been actually growing dramatically. Right now, we're working with close to 90 different multinationals, and that has helped us to get a little bit more out of our comfort zone of the B2C products. And right now, 70% of the companies in our portfolio are B2B, working more with big tech companies, helping them understand the reality of a need in the market for the solution that they want to bring to market, and also secure these initial customers to make sure that they come to us to develop a product, they come to us to grow a business. And that's all. Here you have our contact information. You can email us, contact us, you can send a message. But to be honest, if you are manager of any accelerator and you have portfolio companies that want to join our program, feel free to reach out directly to us as exclusive benefit from members of the AAA. We guarantee you that at least we'll have a session face-to-face, so we'll help you skip all the initial phases of the application process. We will be able to talk, and we'll try to make sure that this initial conversation is not just a conversation to evaluate your company, but also a conversation where you can take some value, and ideally this is something that will be up to you if you want to use it or not, but it will be designed to help. It will be designed to provide some insights the same way that we do with our own portfolio companies. And thank you very much. If there's any questions for either Zina or me about the MOX or Chinaccelerator program, we're happy to take them.